Hello, everybody, and welcome to another preview discussion on Player 2. We have been drip-fed some games from Gamescom, and we're checking them all out as soon as we're able and getting them up for you to talk about. It's you to see, I should say. And joining me, talking because this is her sort of thing, is Jess and Matt. She loves this sort of stuff, so we couldn't have anyone else on because she loves creepy murders and all sorts of crazy shenanigans on FMV video games and things like that. It's absolutely her thing. Jess, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to see some more stupid teenagers end up in a grisly death?
After that introduction, I have to be. But yeah, I am. I'm always ready. I am a big fan, not of all horror games, less of FMV games, but definitely of the Dark Pictures. Definitely of pretty much everything that Supermassive Games does. So,
Yeah.
super excited for
Well,
this
we
one.
are talking about the next Dark Pictures game. It is
Yeah.
called The Devil in Me. Not The Devil in I by Slipknot, The Devil in Me.
Yeah.
That's keeping everyone happy now because I couldn't
You
say it
got it.
before. It's obviously the fourth game in the Dark Pictures anthology and
Yep.
the end of season 1, they're calling it. So I guess there's more coming.
Supposedly 8, I think, was
8,
the
I think,
original
yeah. So
announcement. Yeah.
2 seasons, yeah. They're obviously doing well from it. So I guess why ruin the gravy train? But this one is actually looking kind of different. What's the setup?
So the Dark Pictures games have always kind of been based on, myths, kind of historical, spooky things, kind of more fantastic, I guess, kind of spooky stuff. But yeah, this one's a little bit different. It is based on a real person, from long time ago. H. Holmes, who is a very well-known serial killer. Confessed officially to killing 27 people, but they think that it is many, 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 many more. He is known he's known for a bunch of reasons. One of them is the name of the game, The Devil in Me, is a quote from him about how he thought that he had the spirit of a murderer inside him, and so he was like compelled to kill, which is very Dark Pictures. I think it's like very very apt. But he's also known for having this, it's called the Murder Castle, which is basically like a big, spooky hotel, castle building, that had a lot of like creepy Saw-like puzzles and traps, that he, used to murder people. So, so that's the kind of inspiration that we're working with.
And
for this one.
they also mentioned Saw in the presentation we
Yes.
saw as one of the kind of inspirations behind it. So it's definitely a more grounded in kind of the real as far as these games go, because the only one I've played is House of Ashes, and it was very much based on like Middle Eastern kind of myth and legend and that sort of thing. So I think that was House of Ashes, wasn't it? The one in Iraq? I can't remember. Yep, that's the one I played. Yep. So yeah, this is a real people, and what they're saying is here that there's someone's come to this TV crew that are creating a documentary about serial killers and said, I know the details of this murder castle, and we have a recreation of it. Do you want to come and film it? And they all go, yeah, beauty, yeah, because they're idiots.
Yeah, because what could go wrong?
Yeah, let's go check out the murder castle. This will be all good. So that's what they do, and that's where we start.
Yeah. So it is set in modern day.
Modern day, yes.
As they all have been. But yeah. Yeah.
What kind of surprised me, it's kind of almost moving more in a, I guess, more free area. Like it kind of seems to be sitting between what the old Dark Pictures games were and now Resident Evil or something, because there's a lot more exploration they're showing, a lot more third person sort of moving around and checking out the environments and that sort of thing. So it seems that they're kind of, it's more gamey. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just kind of moving more into that kind of less interactive fiction and more actual gameplay kind of thing.
Yeah, they definitely talked about that. In the presentation, they kind of highlighted a few new features that are going to be in it. One of them is that extra level of kind of exploration where your character can actually like scale parts of the environment, climb things, find hidden areas and stuff, which is kind of new. They can also now run, which is also new, but so exciting.
Unless
God,
they've got
no.
a really short stamina bar, at which point I'll just
It's
go
just a
rah
tiny
and
little
throw my
sprint.
controller.
Just done. Yeah, so there's like exploration, there's running, and there's also an inventory system now that's coming. So each of the characters, there are 5 of them that they talked about in the presentation, and each of them has their own tool, I guess, that they can use to interact with the environment, solve puzzles, get clues and hidden stuff, and they can also give those clues to each other so they can, maybe give them more of a chance of surviving or help someone else to solve a puzzle. Which really feels way more gamey than
It does, yeah.
the
That's
previous
where I kind of
installments.
got the Resident Evil, like those early Resident
Yeah.
Evil games, those sort of vibes. Obviously, you're not killing zombies in it, but
Well,
there's
not that we know of,
not
I
that we
guess.
know of. There could be, there's a little guy on a bicycle with a clown puppet sort of that comes out,
Yeah.
but yeah, it feels like it's definitely moving kind of more in that kind of old school Alone in the Dark almost style horror experience.
It looks terrifying. Like
Yeah.
the Murder Hotel looks real creepy. I'm afraid to play, and I've played all of these games, and every time I'm like, anxiety is bad, scary things are bad, actually, and then I sign up for the next one. But this one I think is going to be really creepy.
Yeah, I think the based in real is what
Mm,
really kind of, real humans are probably the scariest thing
mm,
anyone can ever encounter. So
mm. Yeah, it's true.
it's like, a fantastical monster or the crazy psycho killer,
Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
and I think it for me, I don't know about this series. Well, I didn't
Mm,
until I watched this presentation. I didn't know about this fellow.
mm,
But I could immediately see like Saw. Like I've seen the first few Saw movies anyway, and it straight away, it
mm,
felt like that. It felt like the decisions, that you could get out of if you were willing to live. Like, and it feels
mhm.
like there's going to be that sort of consequence involved. What are you going to have to do to yourself or to someone else to ensure your survival? And I think that's going to be the real crux of this one.
Yeah, some of the scenarios that they showed, I genuinely don't know how they're gonna get out of them, because usually they frame them as like, you have a choice, you can save this person or save this one, but in this one it was like, kill this person, kill that one, and
Yeah,
it
there
was
was no
very
save.
yeah. So yeah, I don't quite know how they're gonna do it, but
Mm,
and I mean, of course, there's gonna be those moments of who do I kill, who do I save, and not only might that lead to somebody's death, but it's clearly gonna lead to changes in relationships again. Um, there's at least one dramatic, uh, romantic pairing happening in this game.
yeah,
I have my fingers crossed that there's gonna be more than one, but I don't know, might be too much to hope for. But won't stop them dying horrible deaths either way. So
no, no,
really, you know,
absolutely.
yeah,
There's going to be death on the horizon. It's also
yeah,
much longer, they're saying, than previous
yes,
games. Like they said 7 to 8 hours.
mm,
So that's kind of double the
mm,
other games almost. So it's a
yeah, yeah,
fairly big experience.
mm,
Will
which
it
is good.
hold up? I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a lot extra on what these games usually are.
Mm,
They almost feel like just long, or maybe, a mini series in
yeah,
length, and that seems perfect. I don't know.
it's not like Supermassive can't handle longer horror games though,
No, no.
because we've seen them do it before. So I kind of have faith that they'll pull it off.
Yeah.
I hope
Yep.
they'll pull it off.
Yeah, hope it doesn't lose steam on the back end, once you've
Yeah.
learnt the game's tricks, I guess.
Yes. Yeah.
All right then. Well, I mean, that's about it for what we saw. Is there anything you're worried about in what you saw, or are you pretty confident that they've got it down pat at this point?
Mostly curious.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna make it more kind of Resident Evil-y than it was
Yeah.
before, like you said, because of the introduction of like an inventory and because of the introduction of puzzles that can potentially help people live or die. So it's not just going to be a choice-based thing. It might even be a can you solve this puzzle kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that there are some new elements that they're going to be trying to implement that it'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off. I don't know if I'm worried, but I'm intrigued, I guess. Cautiously
Intrigued, yeah.
optimistic, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it looked like it was a smart move. I think they've kind of retread over old ground for a while now, and it's probably good to mix things up a bit because they run the risk of getting a bit stale. So if they can
Yeah.
nail those new elements, I think it'll be good. It really reminded me of those old FMV games from the
Mm,
early CD-ROM days of like Phantasmagoria and things like that were kind
yeah.
of these horror adventure games that were puzzle based more than anything. And so I think there's elements of that, and there's elements of Saw, obviously, and bits and pieces of Resident Evil, all kind of tailored to this interactive fiction format. So it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out in the end.
For sure.
All right then. Well, that's it for The Devil in Me. Jess and I have seen that presentation, and that's all we know. So you've got everything we know. Hopefully that helps you be keen or worried about the game. I think it's going to be a solid effort anyway. But Jess, where can we find you on the world weird web?
You can find me on Twitter at @ZammitJess, or you can find pretty much everything that I write about games on player2.net.au. So.
Yeah, anything coming up that you're wanting to spruik about, or
I don't think so. Actually, I think it's a bit of a break for me, but
with the
I'm
break?
still playing Saints Row and, contrary to a popular opinion, enjoying it. So,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
Yep,
Um,
I reviewed Saints Row, enjoyed it, so you can read my outlier review and Jess and I's outlier discussion.
yeah.
We liked it.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you want to send me a DM about how much I'm a bonehead, then just don't bother. I'm just going to block you. And you can find me at Huso81 if you want to do that. And you can find me at player2au on Twitter as well. And make sure you head over to player2.net.au and check out all our games page. Whole bunch of reviews this week, previews. We've got lots of things going on because it's one of those busy weeks in the gaming calendar, and we're vainly trying to keep our head above water and keep everything on the website. But thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next preview or review discussion, whatever you stumble across on our YouTube playlist. See ya.